Dear human being, beloved soul, I welcome you to my podcast series, Conversations with the Universe. After a near-death experience, my perception of our human existence changed profoundly. I became more sensitive, with all our known senses. I feel more intensely, see people with different eyes, and often take a different perspective on life and our challenges. In my books, I share these altered perspectives and all the knowledge that has flowed through me since my near death and thus record it. For all those who are searching for something more, for the meaning of our existence here on Mother Earth. And it is now a great pleasure for me to share this knowledge with you in this way as a supplement to my books. This season I am dedicating myself to my very first work, the basics of being. I wish you many wonderful insights on your path. Thank you. Love.
Like all matter, the planets also have their very own energy. And where there is energy, there is also consciousness. So our Mother Earth has her very own consciousness. The planets are all connected to each other and together form a ring of power. The sole purpose and task of the planets is to be the platforms that enable life and thus the cycle of dying and becoming for the soul parts on their path of remembering wholeness. Our heart is our gateway to our divine heart, a gateway to the subtle worlds, a gateway to ourselves, a key in the cycle of death and rebirth of matter. There is an infinite variety and number of planets in the cosmos that harbor life. And just as every soul and every part of a soul is unique, so too is the diversity of forms of expression in matter infinite. There are planets that radiate a completely different frequency, and through this also incarnate corresponding forms of consciousness of the soul parts. The variety of possibilities is limitless, and with them also the diversity of materializations of spiritual impulses. Within this ring of power, Mother Earth is a very special planet. She is the planet that pulsates in the heart rate of the cosmos. She is the planet heart because only she vibrates at this frequency. She is a pulsating being, equatable to the heartbeat of humans. She lives, breathes, hears, feels, sees, and smells. She is loving and giving in her powers, but also in her knowledge, because she can store information and transform it. She is connected and connecting. She is unconditional, unexpecting, and has been a place for souls to feel and sense the quality of a loving, pulsating heart for an eternity. It enables the forms and creates a home for us, in which our consciousness can learn to love, mature, feel, smell, form, give, and connect in this special heart energy. It is the planet where we learn to see with the heart, to feel with the heart, to taste, smell, and experience all the other senses. Only here, on Mother Earth, and embedded in her wonderfully loving energy. It is no coincidence that the most diverse levels of consciousness of the soul parts come together here. Dark and light, black and white, loving and hating. The soul parts longing to grow and learn is great. And the heart quality acts as a catalyst for all this diversity, like a crash course in experiences for the incarnated soul parts. A lot of heart also means a lot of emotions, and these are the body's tool, which in turn represents our form, our tool for becoming aware on earth. Only here can you experience a firework of feelings and therefore also have really deep experiences in your consciousness. This is the goal of the soul parts, and you can get very close to it here, very quickly, very intensely, if you allow it. Only here on earth can you create things with love, create them with a loving energy, and thereby materialize love. You can make use of Mother Earth's knowledge, her energies, her gifts, and use them to create things that cannot be created anywhere else in this energy, in this impulse. The Earth is the only planet that gives you the chance to work lovingly, to grow lovingly, and to unfold in and through this heart energy like no other planet. It is the school of love that we are allowed to experience here. And love can also be forgotten, because it cannot be taken for granted in the cycle of being. Love is bound to consciousness and directly to the tool for becoming conscious. the gate, our heart. Only here on Mother Earth are you embedded in a huge energy field of heart energy, in which you have the opportunity to expand and strengthen your consciousness many times over. Only here can you experience this heart energy as long as you are human. Only here, surrounded by this energy, can you discover and unfold yourself in a completely new, different, but above all, wonderful and intense, loving way. It is the heart of your heart. It is the sun of our hearts, the power plant, the pulse generator for the extraordinarily strong connecting energy, and a catalyst to activate our divine heart. Once this has happened, we are connected to it forever. Every living being, every plant on this planet grows, blossoms, and dies in the unique beauty of the love energy of the heart. That is why our blue planet is so extraordinarily beautiful. Because where love energy dwells, the potential of beauty is infinite, and with it, the potential of abundance and fulfillment. You know that speed is a decisive factor for energies and energy worlds. With the higher speed, the consciousness of the energy forms changes. These days, we keep hearing that the frequency of the Earth is changing. However, in its own frequency, only the speed increases, not the amplitude. Therefore, the potential of the Earth's energy is unchanged, but I suspect that with the changed frequency in the future, we will be able to perceive other energies, other energy worlds, more easily than is the case now. This planet can give you everything you need to find the beauty of being within you, to unfold it, and finally to pass it on. That is the course of being here on Earth. Mother Earth gives you the warm impulse of love for the rest of your life. If you recognize this, it will open your heart and thus shape your consciousness in a decisive and profound way. If you manage to perceive the constant heartbeat of our loving and pulsating Earth just once, your body will become the gateway through which you connect to the coarse and fine material cosmos. You decide whether you want to take this path of beauty or rather that of oblivion. It costs you a single decision. Now let's move on to the energy pathways of the Earth. Like all planets, Mother Earth consists of a grid of energy pathways that spread across the globe. Similar to the magnetic field that covers the Earth in a grid, there is another energy grid that is closely connected to the other planets and the energy worlds. Seen in this way, the ring of power is a ring of energy channels of all planets. All planets in all galaxies in the cosmos are equipped with such a grid, and these energy networks resonate with each other. They are communicating energy fields that consist of energy pathways. Like the human skeletal system, a planet's grid is the main communicator of information. So the grid of one planet is always connected to the grid of another planet. All the wise men of this world know and use this network. It is possible to use it to spread positive as well as negative energies on Earth. This is how black and white magicians have always done it. There are many intersections in such a network. As you know, all energy moves in a spiral, out of itself and back again. This dynamic is the reason why energy vortices form in solid matter as we find it here. Each energy intersection creates a large energy vortex. Therefore, energy intersections are places where the energy vortices are larger and thus have a stronger and further reaching effect. They are veritable materializers. There, the energy has an accelerated effect and thus creates material forms faster. Through this increased power and the simultaneous connection of all the intersections with each other, the potential of the effect of a pulse is accelerated many times over, even beyond our planet. It is no coincidence that the Church chose the cross as its symbol. This is also a hidden reference to energy intersections on planet Earth. Places of pilgrimage, for example, can be found at such energy intersections, and such intersections can also be found in the Vatican and at many Celtic cult sites. And with knowledge comes responsibility. The consciousness of the person who uses such an energy vortex determines how it is used. Many people simply visit such places because they feel good there. However, unconsciously, these places accelerate the transformation of the negative energy fields within them. At the same time, however, people can use these energy intersections to send impulses of any kind into the ether, i.e., into the subtle energy channels of the earth. If you go to such a place to pray, make a wish, or perform a ritual, this information spreads at lightning speed across the grid to the whole world and consequently across the ring of power throughout the cosmos. The Church has taken advantage of these energy vortices and often built churches at such intersections. This guaranteed that every Mass celebrated, every thought that was bundled into the form of the Word at this point, simultaneously filled the whole earth as energy. However, caution is advised, because every impulse, whether positive or negative, is literally spread across the whole world at lightning speed via such energy intersections. Thus, with this knowledge comes a great deal of responsibility. I doubt that the Church is aware of this responsibility for humanity, and consequently for all worlds, otherwise it would not have invented concepts such as guilt or sin in the first place. These spread fear. And fear is a low vibrating energy of the ego. These impulses have a degrading effect, keeping consciousness at a low energy level, slow and inflexible, thus giving the Church system further justification for its existence. A clouded mind is easier to control than an alert and quick one, as the latter also has much more power. When people give an impulse to this grid, it spreads throughout the universe on the material level, and on the subtle level, it spreads to all energy levels, depending on the power potential of the executing being. This power potential is linked to the consciousness of the executing being. The more conscious the act, the stronger the effect. This power potential is not really comprehensible to us humans, but it is enough to know that every impulse initiated there has strong and rapid effects on all material and subtle beings. Only humans are able to create an imbalance in the whole cosmos through their unconscious negative impulses in this network. And now to the elements of Mother Earth. The energies of the earth find their forms of expression in the elements of the earth and in their interaction on this planet. Fire, water, air, earth, in some cultures also wood or metal. They are all the principles of our world. These elements each have a task in themselves, but the interplay between them and their connection to each other results in completely different potentials and possibilities. Understanding the forces at work in this world means, above all, understanding how each individual element works, where it works, when and how it reacts in interaction with the other forces. The elements are by no means only effective outside our body. Here, as everywhere, our body is part of this system and by no means independent. It reacts and acts according to the same laws as everything else on this level. It is therefore highly advisable to study the elements in the course of the increasing interest in yourself, their power, their effects and impacts. As one of the first lessons, you will learn to recognize the difference between when the power of an element is at work and when the element itself is. This is always best illustrated with the element of fire. You are surely familiar with fire as an element, hot and flickering. In its potential as a simple material element, it can warm, but in a higher concentration, it can also destroy. But at the same time, the destruction we perceive at our level is, from a different point of view or from a different level, a transformation. Because fire, like all elements, is a tool that can transform energies. But how exactly can the elements help us to transform something? A nice exercise to experience the transforming energy of fire, for example, is the following exercise. Where is the fire in you now? Where is this element in you? The answer is not that difficult. Above all, your will to live is an expression of the fire within you. This calm, blazing flame of life within you is the flame of life. If it goes out because you have decided that you no longer want to be here, then the will to live of your soul has been extinguished. And with that, a new process is ushered in. The process of dying. But even when you are happy or euphoric, that is another expression of the fire within you. And if at some point anger flares up in you, then the fire of your emotions is burning fiercely. As you can see, you not only have this element within you, but also the potential and the power of this element in all directions. The calm flame and the raging flame are always part of life. And it is the same with all elements, that they are within you, they are part of you. Each of us has had experiences in our lives that were very hurtful. Feelings such as sadness, anger, or guilt arise from these experiences. In any case, however, it is a feeling that does you no good. And that is precisely where fire is a helpful element for transforming these feelings within you. A healing impulse for you. Write down all these feelings, experiences, thoughts, and reproaches on a piece of paper. Then read it out loud or silently several times so that your ears and your heart can hear it. This will cause all of the pent-up feelings to concentrate within you. This concentration will become so strong, so great, and so tangibly real that it will hurt and seem to take over your entire being. Then start tearing up the piece of paper. Keep your thoughts focused on the subject. Keep your consciousness there. And then start throwing the individual pieces of paper into a fire. You can use a candle and a plate to put all the burning pieces of paper in, or you can use a campfire or go to a fireplace. No matter where you use the fire, it will transform your feelings. You will experience an initial feeling of relief, even as the paper is burning. And when everything has been burned, you will find a completely different energy within you than was previously the case. Whenever I performed this ritual, I always imagined how all thoughts on the subject then became light. For what element could be better than fire to release things into the light? During this process, the fire of the outside transforms the fire within you. In this way, you make use of this element of the earth to transform an element within you. And in doing so, you create more space for new things. But with this thematic excursion into the elements, I have only been able to name a small part of the energetic laws of the coarse material elements that are at work on this planet. Our planet and its elements are so much more, because the law of the connection of everything now raises the question of what, or with whom, the elements are connected. What are the natural laws of this world? And here, our field of vision lands again in the subtle cosmos, specifically with the law of correspondence. As above, so below. The connection between macrocosm and microcosm is such that they appear to be one form of expression of the same thing. Just as our sun is active in different frequencies, it also exists and works on several frequency levels. All planets exist on several energy levels, but not as diverse and powerful as suns. These have the very special quality of manifesting their power over several frequency ranges. However, their manifestation and effect are different in the respective energy worlds. Other planets also exist in a frequency that we cannot perceive, and they harbor other forms of life there that are possible under the conditions of that frequency. Many centuries ago, Hermes Trismegistus made a first attempt to capture the laws of the entire, subtle and coarse, cosmos. These are written down in the Kybalion, and to this day they are the path of man in search of answers to the functioning of the cosmos. However, my experiences over time have led me to make a few corrections to this Kybalion, which I do not want to withhold from you. Take them as food for thought to continue your research and always create your own picture. This frees you from old patterns or constraints, and at the same time, it makes your consciousness flexible. The laws of the physical cosmos differ only in their forms of expression, but not in themselves. On a planet with, for example, 4 elements, impulses would manifest differently than on a planet with 10 elements. But behind it all, there is always one and the same cycle. The impulse of being is always injected from an outside, and yet, at the same time, it is a law of the inside. To make it clearer, I will use an example. An impulse from the outside can be solar activity. The sun's rays reach us, sometimes more, sometimes less, in rhythms. At Christmas time, for example, certain rays reach the earth that have been decreasing in number since the summer solstice. These rays are not clearly noticeable again until December 24th. They are even more concentrated on December 25th. That's it for today. Thank you for listening, and I wish you beautiful insights on your path. Carpe Vitam. Seize your life. Thank you very much for listening, and I would like to remind you to join our community Spine. We are a community that wants to help you live a healthier life, practice your spirituality, and expand your consciousness. We help you find and connect with healers around the world, and we help you give your life a new meaning in different ways. We are Spine, connections that help.